Welcome back, Endgame family. We, and by we, I mean I, am back for another mock draft tonight. We're doing a full PPR mock draft. One QB, two running back, three wide receiver, one tight end, one flex. No kicker, no defense because we don't do that here. Five bench players. All right, so I'm going to drop the link right now. As you can see, once again, we're doing like a league format. So once the league is filled, we will randomize the draft order, and then we will start the mock draft. Again, I am doing this for our Draft Lane app. If you haven't seen it yet, Draft Lane, right there. There you go. You got the live draft pilot. That's what I'm going to be using tonight. Using our live draft pilot once again. Let me know, by the way, if you have downloaded the app, if you have checked it out, let me know. What do you think? What do you like? What do you maybe don't like? What could we make better? Want to hear from you what you like. But here we go. Here comes the link. Get ready. Here it comes. Like I said, once we have 12, we will start her up. Clayton, what's up? Yes, definitely. I will keep your grandpa in his prayers. My grandpa had many health issues many times. I mean, it sounds like your grandpa's doing okay, especially if he said thank you. That's a good sign. Um, that's good to see. All right, we are already full. That was fast. All right, let me randomize the draft order here. All right, there we go. Draft order is randomized. Clayton with the 12, two picks in 2 weeks in a row. Let me refresh this so you can all see it. I got the 102. All right, here we go. Maul, you are on the clock. Make sure everybody in here is legit. Okay. All right, here we go. Maul, you are on the clock. What's up, Bobby Digital? Once again, guys, if you have downloaded the app, if you've looked at it, please give me some feedback. I would love the clock at number 2. I don't really need. Okay, well, this is a good segue as I take them right there. Fantasy Sam, are you worried about CD holdout? No, I'm not worried about CD holdout. I think that at some point here, pretty soon, we are going to see a Schefter report saying there's a contract extension for CD. He'll be back at camp and we'll be fine. I am not worried one bit about CD Lamb. As you can see, as I just took him at the 102. Now, granted, this is a mock, so no money on the line or anything, but I still would take the 102. Trust Lock, what's up? Any advice for a 14-team league, only one PPR? Yeah, my first advice would be download Draft Lane. So you can see it right here. I didn't even select the league yet because I didn't really need any help for that pick, of course. You can see right here when you're on the clock, it will tell you exactly who Pierre or myself, I should say, will pick. We worked months with our developer on the algorithm, testing it, saying, nope, don't like that, should change this, do this. It works for, I don't want to say every league. It'll definitely work for a 14-teamer, one flex PPR. Works for Superflex as well. It does only work on Sleeper and Yahoo, so if you're on ESPN, sorry, it doesn't work for that. Apparently, ESPN makes it very hard to integrate that way. And then my only other advice would be, I mean, like always, just it's PPR, so you're probably gonna want slightly more wide receiver. You know, like you're gonna want to slightly prefer wide receiver to running back, but as always, take values when they're there. Don't feel like you have to reach early on QB. You know, don't feel like you have to reach early on tight end. Pretty much that. We'll be dropping a bunch of videos. I mean, we're already dropping videos, but from now till the season starts, a bunch of videos. So definitely check those out as well. What's up, Marquise? Good to see you, buddy. Are you back in it yet, Marquise? All right. As Cole Keenra. I probably butchered that. My apologies. Random Dynasty question. Like Dynasty questions. Any big preference between Neighbors or Odunze? That's a good question. I think right now, I don't want to say it's it's a big preference, Odunze over Neighbors, but I do prefer Odunze over Neighbors because we know Odunze is going to be connected to Caleb Williams for at least the next 4 to 5 years. We also know Keenan Allen is 32 years old on a 1-year deal. There's no guarantee Keenan Allen is back after this year. So he could be the number 2 or even the 1B for Caleb Williams going into next year. We still don't know what this Giants offense quarterback situation is going to look like going forward. So if given the choice, I prefer Odunze, but it's not a huge difference. All right, so I'm on the clock. So all you do here when you're on the clock, if you haven't seen it yet, you hit my turn. You wait like 2 seconds, and then it tells you who we would take in this situation. So it's saying Waddle, Pittman, Evans, which I'm fine with any of those guys here. Okay, I'm going to actually go Waddle slightly over Evans, which is the top pick here. I think I slightly prefer Waddle. All right, where are we at here? God, Wrestling, and Football podcast. All right, I like it. I like it. You talk like, first of all, I love the God part. Obviously, the football part. You talk about like pro wrestling, like WWE. What is it? WWE now and all that. That's pretty cool. Am I taking Jefferson at current ADP? Yes, I am. It does. Okay, hold on. Back on the clock. So again, if you want to see it in action, I just hit my turn. It says, wait a second. Boom. Comes up with Achane, Debo, Devonta Smith. Do I want to go? I think Achane is probably a good value here. I need to close this one. I wouldn't mind. I don't mind Debo or Devonta Smith here. Let's go with a running back. Let's go with Achane. I think anytime I can get Achane in the third, I'm grabbing Achane. So let's go with Achane here. Yeah, I'm drafting Jefferson as current ADP. It sounds like it's going to be Sam Darnold. It sounds like Nick Mullins. If Sam Darnold struggles, then we'll see Nick Mullins. We saw last year with Nick Mullins, JJ was more than fine. I think he'll be more than fine with Sam Darnold. I think he'll probably even be more than fine with JJ McCarthy. I think he's one of the few, maybe the only wide receiver I can really think of that is truly, maybe not truly quarterback proof. Like I'm sure if he had like Tim Boyle or Trevor Siemian throwing to him, he probably wouldn't be very good. But I think the quarterbacks on the roster are good enough for Jefferson. So yes, I am definitely drafting him at his ADP. And I've actually noticed his ADP has dropped a little bit. So I'll happily take him if it drops. Williams saying his keepers in his fantasy league, Breece Hall, CeeDee Lamb. Nice. Got to feel good about that. Bartermania was at Texans camp today. Very cool. Very cool. Dell looks good. Stroud was on point. Yeah, that's awesome. That's awesome. All right. Bobby Digital. Good question here. Henry or Etienne in full PPR? It's got the 9 spot, so considering Gibbs or A.J. Brown and then a back in the second round. ESPN is my platform. There's a lot of wide receiver value there later. I think if you're going to – if I'm going to go a running back – like if I already made up my mind I'm going a running back in the second round, I mean, I'll say this first. There is a chance, like you saw tonight at the 110 Breece Hall went. There is a chance Breece Hall falls to you at the 9. So I wouldn't just be dead set on Gibbs or A.J. Brown. And then, like, if Breece Hall falls to me at the 9, I'm taking Breece Hall. Or if Bijan somehow falls to me at the 9, I'm taking Bijan. That being said, I'm okay if you want to go Gibbs over A.J. Brown. I might even go Puka there. I think that's the spot where it starts to feel like I might honestly Garrett Wilson. That's the spot where I start to feel like okay, it's hard to differentiate these guys. There's a pretty big tier there. But I don't know if I would go RB unless it's full PPR. Like unless you only start 2 wide receivers. But if you start 3 or more wide receivers, or if you start 2 in a flex, I'd probably wouldn't go RB. Back to your original question, Henry or Etienne. I'm going Henry this year. I know there's risk with Henry. He's 30 years old, over 2,000 touches. There's a lot of risk, but I think Etienne is a little overvalued in fantasy. I really do. I think Etienne's a good player. I think he's a little overvalued in fantasy. I saw something the other day. Now, I don't like to look at strength of schedule before we've even started playing games because a lot change. Defenses we think are going to be good are going to be bad. Defenses we think are going to be bad are going to be good. There's going to be injuries. But as of right now, he has, I think it was like the second toughest strength of schedule in the second half of the season. And again, I think Etienne's perceived value is higher than his real value. Now, I had Etienne in a couple of leagues last year, so I experienced this firsthand for a while thinking, oh, man, I have a league winner on my hand. But if you look at Etienne last year, you look at his games last year, he started off slow, We had a nice week 1 against Indy, but then 6, 17, 10. Okay, that's okay. Then he went on a rampage, 36, 23, 22, 25. So then I felt like, okay, you got a league winner on my hands. Then it went into the bye week, came out of the bye week, and he finished the season with 6, 8, 12, 17, 17, 9, 6. And then he did get you 25 in the championship if you made it to him. So that was nice. So like Etienne isn't bad, but I feel like he's a little overvalued. I think Henry's going to be awesome in that Ravens offense. It really comes down to him staying healthy. I mean, almost a lot, like a lock for over 1,000 yards, a lock for double-digit touchdowns, maybe 15+ touchdowns. I'm going with Henry personally. All right, let's go. Interflux saying AJ Brown, Jonathan Taylor's an insane start. I agree. I'd prefer maybe they couldn't get Puka, but yeah, I agree. Great start. I don't know why Jonathan Taylor is starting to fall in drafts. It seems like. NMB saying, convince me that Ayuk should be going this high. You can't replicate the efficiency he had last year. 75 catches. Was that efficient? I think Ayuk can get better. I think Ayuk is still a guy in his prime. What is he entering? Year 4? Year 4 is typically where we see like the start of a wide receiver's prime. I think he can get better. I definitely think he can get better. Debo a little bit older. Kittle a little bit older. I think we could see Ayuk become the focal point. Now, I'm not against somebody being like, nah, that's too high. Okay. Not like, I don't think it's crazy, but I like Ayuk still. Carl, what app is this? If you're talking about the app that we're drafting on, that is Sleeper. Sleeper.app. And yes, it is free. If you're talking about the app I'm showing when I'm drafting, Draft Lane, it is free to download, and there's many free things in it. It's not free to use it on your draft like this, though. But there's many other things that the app has, like all your league history. It compares you to other players, like how you do against other players, in your leagues, and everybody on the app. It has rankings, all sorts of other cool free stuff like that. So if you're talking about the app we're drafting on, that Sleeper. If you're talking about the app I'm using while I Draft Lane, that one is free to download, but not free to use when you draft like this. Where is Pierre? He is traveling back from Miami. He just spent the last 2 weeks in Miami visiting family, so he will be back. I think he gets back today, actually. I think he flies back today. Toilet bowl on the clock. All right, there he goes with Kincaid. Okay, so I'm back on the clock. I hit my turn. It says, please wait. It says Josh Allen here, which is a great value. Lamar Jackson, James Cook. I don't normally like going QB early. Actually, good little pro tip for you right here. Since there's only one guy behind me, and both Josh Allen and Lamar Jackson are available, rather than go QB here, because you can only take one of those guys, I'm actually going to take a different player here. I'm actually going to go Terry here. I like Terry here. It also recommended Pickens or James Cook. So now if he doesn't go QB here, then I'll just take one of the QBs. Or actually, I'll take one of the QBs regardless. And he doesn't go QB, so I don't like going QB, but come on, Josh Allen in round 5, I'm taking Josh Allen. That's too good of a value. Too good of a value. All right, Jonathan, first time playing a Dynasty League, 14-man PPR. It's got the first overall pick. Should I go QB or wide receiver, and if so, who? Okay, if this is a Dynasty startup, it depends. If it's Superflex, you should 100% draft Patrick Mahomes. If it's non-Superflex, you should 100% draft Justin Jefferson. Like, that's it. Those are your choices at the 101. If it's Superflex, you're taking Patrick Mahomes. If it's non-Superflex, you're taking Justin Jefferson. All right. And then it says pro wrestling. That's cool, man. I'll have to check it out. I'll have to check that out. I used to be I don't watch pro wrestling anymore, but man, used to be huge into pro wrestling back in the day. HBT Bears in an ESPN ADP. Okay, I don't even know what ESPN ADP looks like. I know this is the problem. This is the problem when we make videos this time of year. Like everybody's ADP is so different. Let's look at ESPN's ADP. So right now, pick 6 is currently Bijan. Okay, give me Bijan. If you don't want Bijan at pick 6, or if he somehow goes earlier, I would also be more than happy with Amon-Ra St. Brown. So, or even Justin Jefferson go on pick 8. Yeah, any of those guys. Any of those guys only, honestly. Bijan, Amon-Ra, Justin Jefferson, any of them. Grab any of them. Wow, but Justin Jefferson go on pick 8 on ESPN. Okay, so God Wrestling and Football Podcast again. Do you go for stacks in your drafts? I'm not against stacking in redraft, but I'm also not. It's not like on Underdog where I'm like actively trying to stack. If I don't get the stack, it's fine. Stacks in redraft can be good and bad, right? Because obviously it's great on those weeks where, like, let's say I have Josh Allen and I don't know, I get maybe I had Dalton Kincaid or get Keon Coleman or Curtis Samuel or somebody later. It's great on those weeks when Josh Allen throws 2 touchdowns to Dalton Kincaid because or if you have Jalen Hurts and AJ Brown and Jalen Hurts throws 2 touchdowns to AJ Brown, it's obviously fantastic. It's not so fun on those weeks where the Eagles offense struggles and AJ Brown, Jalen Hurts and AJ, so your number 1 wide receiver and your QB both struggle on the same week. So I don't think it's as important in redraft. I wouldn't force it. If it happens naturally, if it just happens organically through the course of the draft, great. But I wouldn't be forcing it in redraft. Sal, what is up? Needs to choose one keeper in a 12-man half PPR. CD in the first, Kelsey in the third, Rachaad White in the sixth. Oh, man. This is pretty much where all these guys are being drafted. I'd probably just take CD in the first. Rachaad White in the sixth is not he's a value there, but he's not an extreme value. Kelsey in the third, that's pretty much where he goes. Kelsey, you may not want to keep Kelsey next year. You may not want to keep Rachaad White next year. CeeDee Lamb's a stud entering the prime of his career. I'm just going to keep CeeDee Lamb in the first year. King Fred, can you use it for an offline draft? I don't know what you mean by offline draft. If you mean a mock draft, it has to be a league. So what I'm doing here is I created a league. And then when everybody joined, I do a mock draft. And then after we're done here, I'm going to delete the league. But it has to be connected to a league in order for it to work right. It won't work in a mock draft. Maybe that's something we can add next year. I think that would be a cool feature. If people could do mock drafts on there, I think that would be awesome. Obviously, that's something I would have to talk to my developer about and see if he can do it. But right now, only in league. So I'm not sure if that covers what you're looking for or not. All right, so I'm about to be on the clock here again. All right, so once again, click my turn. Wait just a second. Oh, man, there's some values on the board. So it's recommending Romo Dunze, Jackson Smith and Jigba, Christian Watson. It also says other options here, Aaron Jones, Evan Ingram, Tony Pollard. Now, I wouldn't mind Evan Ingram here. I really like Evan Ingram. But again, pro tip, when you're drafting towards the ends like this, I see that Amal already has a tight end. I know he's not going to take Evan Ingram unless now that he just heard me say that, he wants to spite me. So I know I can get Evan Ingram on the way back. I'm not really a big fan of Aaron Jones, to be honest. I think I'm just going to go wide receiver here. I'm going to go with Christian Watson. I like his upside. I'm willing to gamble on him here. Willing to gamble on that upside of Christian Watson. And then I'll probably get Evan Ingram on the way back, since I know Amal will not be going tight end. All right, so NMB is saying 1,350 yards and 75 catches is unbelievably efficient. I mean, yeah, his yards per reception did go up quite a bit last year to 17.9 versus the rest of his career, 14.8, 13, 12.5. So maybe we see that go down. But I think he could have more targets, more catches. So I think it could balance out in that sense. But I get what you're saying. All right, another Dynasty Superflex question from Jonathan. Got offered Jordan Addison for Bryce Young straight up. Already have CJ, Dak, Caleb, Puka, Pittman, Ayuk, Hollywood. Oh, man. That's probably fair. Okay, I'm going to go Evan Ingram here. I think Evan Ingram is just... You'll see on Sunday's video how I feel about Evan Ingram. I really like Evan Ingram. I think that's probably fair. It's hard to give up a QB like Bryce Young, though, in Superflex because, man, there's still so much potential with Bryce Young. I know you're pretty good at quarterback. You have 3, but it is Superflex. I don't know. Puka, Pittman, Ayuk. I mean, you're pretty good at wide receiver too. You got Puka, Pittman, Ayuk, Hollywood, Jameson. I think I'm going to hold Bryce Young, and here's why. I don't think we're going to see Addison's value go up tremendously this year. I think we could see Bryce Young's value go up tremendously. I really do feel like, I mean, again, you look at Dave Canales 2 years ago in Seattle. We all thought, we laughed at the Seahawks when they signed, traded Russ and went with Geno Smith. And he actually looked capable. And then last year, when the Bucs signed Baker Mayfield, it's like, oh man, this guy's terrible. What are they doing? And he actually looked pretty good. I don't think that was a coincidence. The common denominator here is Dave Canales, who's now the head coach of the Panthers. And look, he has a true alpha wide receiver in Deontay Johnson. I think Bryce Young, if Bryce Young goes out there this year, and throws for 3,500 to 4,000 yards and 30-ish touchdowns, man, you're going to be able to, Bryce Young is going to be so much more valuable next year than Jordan Addison. So I think I'm going to hold Bryce Young here, even though I do feel like it's a fair trade right now. I think the potential for Bryce Young is just so much higher. Interflux saying the real power move to take Lamar and Allen. Yeah, the 3 QB build. Thoughts on Panthers offense this year? Well, if you watched our video that dropped just a few hours ago, 6 expert predictions for the fantasy football season, I said on there, I thought I'm predicting that last year the 2 worst offenses statistically were the Green Bay Packers and the Carolina Panthers. They had the fewest yards and the fewest touchdowns in the NFL last year. I think they're both top 15 offenses this year. And this goes back to what I just in the Dynasty question. I think Dave Canales is going to turn Bryce Young into an above average QB. Let's not forget this guy was the number 1 pick last year. I know, some people, like Pierre and myself, liked Stroud more, but we weren't anti Bryce Young. This wasn't oh, what a reach taking Bryce Young at the 101. Oh, this guy should never be the number 1 pick. No, this guy has a talent. He was just in a horrible situation last year. I think the Panthers top 15 offense this year. Surprised a lot of people. All their players are tremendous values in fantasy. So, I think Leggett's worth taking in Dynasty if it's late enough. Wasn't one of my favorite prospects, but at the same time, doesn't mean he can't do it. So, all right. So, NMB, would you take Pacheco early second round behind Kyra and JT? So after them, I would probably take Pacheco after So if I look at the board here, let's look at the board. Let's pull the board up a little more here. So if we look at the board here, he went like I would take Pacheco probably after Henry. Like I would not take Etienne before Henry and Achane personally. I would take Pacheco probably after Achane, but before like guys like Etienne, Rachaad White, Josh Jacobs, those guys. Although it went a little differently tonight. You never know how the draft's going to go. So, yeah, Devonta Smith at 3.12. What a value. I almost took him when I was on the clock at the 302. Interflux saying, ugh, I hate these 3 wide receivers starting cores. It's so painful because I love drafting running back heavy. Well, I get that. We usually do more wide receiver heavy drafts or leagues in our end game leagues, almost always 3 wide receiver leagues. So yeah. All right, King Fred needs to keep 2 out of these 3 receivers. AJ Brown in the 3rd, nice. Drake London in the 2nd. Puka in the 1st. Well, you got to keep AJ Brown in the 3rd. This is a first round pick in fantasy. You got to keep him in the 3rd. Again, I'm probably just keeping Puka in the 1st. Like Drake London goes in the 2nd, Puka goes in the 1st. You're not getting a value here. I like Puka more than Drake London this year, so I'm going AJ Brown and Puka. Yeah, receivers go very early in this draft for sure. All right, coming back up to our pick here. All right, so it's going to say, so it says, based on my draft, strongly suggests wide receivers. That I take a wide receiver because, again, it is a 3 wide receiver league. Hopkins, Dotson, Jacoby. I'm just not a fan of Hop, honestly. I don't see it with Jacoby Myers. This feels early for Dotson, though, doesn't it? Maybe not. Maybe wide receivers are just have gone off the board that much. It does also like running back Tony Pollard, Javonte. You know what? I'm gonna go running back here. It also suggesting running back. I'm gonna go Javonte. By the way, all that talk about getting cut, smoke. Today, not only did Sean Payton say he lost weight and looked great, he took every rep the first team today. And now the same beat writer that was like, he's going to get cut is saying it looks like Samaje Perine is the one that's going to get cut. Oh my God, jeez. Javonte, I think, still a tremendous value in drafts right now. Tremendous value in drafts. Stat predictions on Falcons this year? I'm going to be honest. I mean, Bijan is going to be phenomenal. Phenomenal. I do have a little bit of reservations about Drake London and Kyle Pitts. I like these guys. Okay, you know what? Maybe I should just go Hopkins. I hardly ever draft Hopkins. It just feels so low for Hopkins here. I feel like it's too early for Dotson, though. Although I do like Dotson. I like his potential upside. All right, let's just go Dotson. I am a little nervous that people are maybe a little, London, Bijan, Pitts, maybe a little too hyped up for London. I think London will be very good this year, but I don't know if London's going to be quite early 2nd round pick good. We'll see. Pitts, I think, is still fine where he's going. I'd probably feel more comfortable with London like late 2nd, early 3rd, to be honest. Maybe I'll be wrong. Maybe Cousins will unlock London to his Super Saiyan level here. But Bijan, I have no worries about at all. Full confidence in Bijan. Decent confidence in Pitts. I'm confident in London. I just wonder if people are maybe a little too hyped up on him right now. We'll see. We'll see. I haven't even really been paying attention to my team. I've just been letting this thing. So how many wide receivers we got here? We got CD, Jalen Waddle, Terry McLaurin. Oh, that's why I wanted me to go wide receiver, because I only have 4 wide receivers in a 3 wide receiver league. Okay, that makes sense. I got Achane Javonte, so probably going to have to start hitting a lot of running backs here. All right. Well, this is the part of the draft where running backs start flying off the board. But there's plenty of late-round running backs this year. And still, guys, I'm if anybody has downloaded the app and checked it out at all, please let me know what you think. I know we've had quite a few downloads so far, according to my developer. So if you downloaded it and checked it out, let me know what you think, like what you like, what you don't, what we can improve, what you'd like to see added. Let me know. Always want to make sure it's fantastic for you guys. Clayton saying, glad somebody else on the Panthers. Cardinals and Panthers, my team's where I draft. Yeah, Cardinals are not, I mean, other than Marvin Harrison Jr., Cardinals another very undervalued offense. I mean, you get Kyler relatively late, like compared to the elite QBs. You get, I mean, McBride's going fairly early too, I guess, for a tight end, but James Conner's still going pretty late. Trey Benson basically free. And then look, I like guys like Michael Wilson, Greg Dortch late. So yeah, Cardinals another good undervalued offense for sure. Clayton saying he likes Spears more than Pollard. I think what we're hearing from Brian Callahan so far, the head coach there and the offense coordinator, is like this is going to be a 1A, 1B. Like this, both these guys are going to get involved. Both these guys are going to get touches. So I like them both. I think they're both fine. I think they're both good values in drafts. I mean, look, Tony Pollard going this late. This is the type of backfield where I don't necessarily want to plant my flag. Want to have like decent exposure to both. Maybe they'll just both be like good this year or okay. Maybe one will be great, one will be bad. Maybe both will be great, maybe both will be bad. So yeah. Yeah, Clayton you did get the 12 spot 2 weeks in a row. And that looks totally random. It's totally random. Interflex saying, I don't care if it's a reach. Blake Corum is my guy. Hey, when you get to the late rounds, you got to reach a little bit. And I'm not opposed to reaching in redraft leagues because, you want to make sure you like your team. You want to make sure you get your team, your guys. All right, so I'm guessing it's going to say, okay, so it still wants me to take a wide receiver in a 3 wide receiver league. Jacoby Myers, Josh Downs, Tyler Lockett. How many? Okay, let's go one more wide receiver here. I like Josh Downs. I don't know. Somebody sell me on Jacoby Myers, please. I don't get it. Maybe I'm wrong, but I don't see what's the hype with Jacoby Myers. I mean, I can't say there's hype, but I feel like a lot of people think he's a good like late round sleeper. All right, now it says strongly suggest running back, which makes a ton of sense. And it says Chase Brown, who I love. Give me Chase Brown all day here. All day with Chase Brown. Very high on Chase Brown. Okay, so Andy's saying Devontae Adams could leave mid-year and he'd be the number one there. Okay, it's possible. I don't think it's likely, but it's possible. I don't think I want to draft a guy for the hope that Devontae Adams gets traded, but I mean, okay, possible. NMB saying I'm the only sane person in my league that don't want kicker and kicker and punter. You guys, wait, you do not really have punter in your leagues. Okay, defense. Oh, I was gonna say, come on. I was gonna say, no league does punters, do they? That's terrible. How would you even score a punter? Like, how would the scoring be? Like, if the punter pins him inside the 1 yard line, it's like 3 points. If they pin him inside the 10, it's like 2. Like, how would punter scoring even work? Oh, terrible. All right. I'm gonna mispronounce this. Vihan Shah. Sorry, I'm sure I mispronounced your name. I apologize for that. Wants to know, should he get CMC? He's wondering because of the Madden curse. Is there really a Madden curse? Who was on the Madden cover last? Wasn't Josh Allen on the Madden cover like 2 years ago and he was the QB1? Who was on the Madden cover last year? Who was it? Let's see. Last year it was John Madden. Okay, Madden 22. It was Mahomes and Brady. And then Mahomes in 2020. Yeah, I don't know if there's really a Madden curse. I'm still going CMC, but I totally understand the reservation. Like, yeah, I get it, but man, it's basically, it's like if CMC stays healthy all year, he wins you. He helps you. Like, he literally is a league winner, right? He averaged 24 points per game last year. Like, yeah, just a total game changer. I think you have to just gamble on it. You just do. Like, yeah, sure. If he gets hurt, has a season-ending injury, well, that sucks. Your season is probably over. But I mean, look, last year Justin Jefferson missed like six, 7 games. Jamar Chase was awful because Joe Burrow was bad, and then he got hurt. Like, you just never know. Tyreek Hill wasn't very good in the fantasy playoffs because he had that ankle injury. There's so many things that you can't control. You might as well take the guy who has a chance to break fantasy football, and that's Christian McCaffrey. Yeah, there are some leagues with defensive players, IDP. That is the common thing. But I've never seen a league with punters. That I have never seen. That would not be fun, I don't think. I mean, maybe if it was like not a serious league and you just wanted to try it out, maybe it would be fun. But I don't know. Like, really have to like follow punters and like, oh, who punts for this team? Who's this team's punter? Like, how many punters can you even name? I can't name any. I can't name a single punter. Mexi Madden has the ability to do the funniest thing ever. I don't know if he did it. I don't know what you were saying. Corey Klein, Nico Collins, or Sam Laporta in a Dynasty League. I think it's got to be Nico. It's got to be Nico. Yeah, I know Sam Laporta was great as a tight end last year, but he's still, unless it's tight end premium, I'm going to always take the wide receiver over the tight end. Nico is still very young. He's got CJ Stroud for however many years. I'm going Nico. All right, he did the funniest thing ever. You going to fill us in? I don't know. I don't see what it is. Kamara, Warren, Mitchell, Shaheed, Brock Bowers, Jaden Daniels. I don't know. What's up, Tristram? Ego saying, can we see top of the board? Yes. Let me make my... Well, here, I'll show you the top of the board real quick. Here. There's the full board. Although I will have to make a pick here in a second. But you'll still be able to see the top of the board. All right. So my trusty app says... Still wants me to take Jacoby Myers because too good of a value. Too good of a value here. I just don't like Jacoby Myers. No, I'm not. I can't do it with Jacoby Myers. I don't see it. It's gonna Mike Williams. I don't really like Mike Williams. Ty Chandler. I'm gonna go Ty Chandler here. I like Ty Chandler. I think Ty Chandler's got a chance. All right, how do I break down the Commanders' backfield for fantasy? Should Eckler or B-Rob be? I would take Brian Robinson first. I think he's going to be the lead back. I think he's going to be the goal line back. Eckler maybe like change pace, pass catching back. But Eckler wasn't even great in pass protection last year. I'm pretty heavily Brian Robinson over Eckler. Thoughts on the backfield in Dallas? Okay, got one more pick here. Let's go with. No, I don't want those guys. You cannot force me to take Mike Williams. Man, running backs dried up. Let's go with. All right. Even though I do like Ramondre, let's go with Gibson for our last pick here. Thoughts on the backfield in Dallas? Yes, I have talked about this, actually. And I didn't even look. Is Rico Dowdle already gone? Yeah, he's already gone. Makes sense. I think Rico Dowdle is going to be the lead back in Dallas sooner rather than later. I don't even have to say I think. I know Ezekiel Elliott is complete and utter dust. Like, look, it's 3rd and 1. You need a first down. Yeah, sure. You give it to Zeke. You're at the goal line. Okay, sure. Maybe you give it to Zeke. But Dowdle's just better than Zeke. So I think, like, Dallas might believe Zeke's going to be the one. But, man, I think at some point fairly early in the season, if not even week 1, they're just going to have to be like, nah, like Dowdle needs to get more touches than Zeke. He's just more explosive. He brings us that dimension. So Dowdle is the guy I'm actually targeting in Dallas personally. All right, King Fred meant to say keeps 2, Drake London in the 4th, A.J. Brown in the 3rd, Puka in the 1st. Okay, now I probably go A.J. Brown and Drake London. Because, again, Puka goes in the 1st. Drake London usually goes early 2nd, and A.J. Brown usually goes in the 1st. So you're getting like a 2-round discount on those guys. Look, I assume Puka goes back into the pool. Maybe you can still draft Puka. So I'm going London and A.J. Brown in this case. Fantasy Sam, favorite go-to QB this year. We're going to talk about some of them on the upcoming video coming out on Sunday. Kyler Murray, Dak, I think is a great value. Those are pretty much my go-tos. I like Richardson. Obviously, if like Josh, like in here, if I can get Josh Allen or Patrick Mahomes in the 5th, I'm doing that. So yeah. NMB saying by far worst team he's ever created. All right, well, we'll see. We'll grade these things. Tristram just talked about Rico Dowdle, like him. Trey Benson, I think I do like him. I think we could see this become more of a 50-50 by the end of the year. He obviously has tremendous upside if James Conner goes down. And James Conner, I think I talked about this in the video coming out on Friday. James Conner's only played more than 13 games in his career one time. Like, that's it. So definitely worth a draft. Is Pollard a late night? Yeah, Pollard's typically going around like round 9. People are pretty off of Pollard this year after he burned him last year. So yeah, I think he's a good value there. I mean, come on, in the 9th round. All right. Rob Dale, Superflex, 12-team PPR. List me my first 6 to 8 draft picks. Okay, and then we'll do this. Patrick Mahomes, Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson, Jalen Hurts. I'm trying to think off the top of my head how I ranked the course. CJ Stroud. I think maybe this is where you can start to consider Jefferson. Although I probably still go like Burrow. I still like Burrow. Maybe even Anthony Richardson. But you could also consider, so after those first 5, you could consider Burrow, Anthony Richardson, CeeDee Lamb, Justin Jefferson. Maybe Jamar Chase thrown in there too. So that's like my top 9. Those first 5, I think that's the order. The next 4 or 5, however many I listed, you can probably mix and match those. All right. No, I'm not looking forward to playing with IDPs. I don't follow IDPs at all, and I'm not going to have time to follow IDPs, so hopefully they're not scored very highly. Do we have rankings for standard? No, we don't have. Well, we do, but they're in our app that I just showed everybody here. Fonzie on Draft Lanes, and yes, we actually did do for non PPR. So if you want to download our app, Draft Lane, you can do that. And we have our live draft pilot that actually goes pick by pick with you for your league, for your settings, for your scoring, for your roster, for everything. And when you're on the clock, it will actually tell you who Pierre and I would select if we were on the clock based on who you've already picked, who's available, etc. Your scoring, standard scoring. So if you want to check it out, that was Draft Lane. All right. Shane's saying that was tough, especially at the 3. Yeah, I've had a hard time with the early picks, but let's grade this one here. Let's grade you guys' team. Let's start with them all. Not scared. Took CMC at 1. Of course, it is a mock draft. No reason to be scared. Evans, Pittman, Pickens, McConkey, Wicks, Myers. Okay, well, I guess if Myers is going to go around 13, that's fine. So Evans, Pittman, Pickens, McConkey is your wide receivers with Wicks and Myers on the bench is good. McCaffrey, and then I love this. Just wait. Get Zamir White, Gus Edwards, Zach Moss, Zeke. Love it. Jordan Lovett, QB. Got an elite tight end, Andrews. Love it. Great team. Great team. All right, I went CeeDee Lamb, Jalen Waddle, Devon Achane, Terry McLaurin, Josh Allen in the 5th, a steal. Christian Watson, Evan Ingram, who I love. Then I got Javonte, Chase Brown, Ty Chandler, Gibson. So obviously RB2 could be a question mark here, but I like all those guys. Dotson, Downs, backing them up. Maybe not my favorite team ever, but I still think it's a very strong team. I mean, Achane, Javonte, Chase Brown, Ty Chandler, Gibson, Lamb, Waddle, McLaurin, Watson, Dotson, Downs, Allen, and Ingram. Definitely happy with that team. All right, Toilet Bowl. Tyreek, Derrick Henry, like it. Nico, think that's fair value for Nico right there. Kincaid, good. Mahomes, great value on Mahomes. Stevenson, Odunze, Jameson, Benson, Kendra Miller, who's not getting a little nervous about Kendra. Hopefully things change. Pearsall, Burton, and then, the flyer on Nick Chubb at the last round. Fine. So Tyreek, Nico, Odunze, Jameson is your wide receivers. A little dicey at wide receiver. Henry, Stevenson at running back should be good. I like your running backs on your bench for the most part. I like Kincaid, Mahomes. So in a 3 wide receiver league, I am a little nervous about your wide receivers, but overall a solid team. Nothing terrible there. Other John, Jefferson, Etienne, Pacheco. So if we switch those 2 picks, I might like it better, but it's fine. Cooper, Lamar Jackson, again, getting Lamar in the 5th round is great value. Jaden Reed, Jackson Smith and Jigba, Aaron Jones, David Njoku, Dobbs, Bateman, definitely a guy we need to start paying more attention to. Eckler, Michael Wilson. So Etienne, Pacheco at running back. I mean, that's very strong with Aaron Jones, Austin Eckler. Good there. Jefferson, Cooper, Reed, Smith and Jigba, Dobbs, Bateman, Wilson. Again, I mean, I like Jefferson. I like Cooper. I think Reed will be fine. If JSN busts out, then this wide receiver room will be very good. If he doesn't, this could be a little dicey. So again, kind of like toilet bowls. I mean, a very solid team here. Nothing really to be too upset about, but a little nervous about the wide receivers. All right, Miguel at the 5, up Sun God. Kyron at the 2-8, DJ Moore, Trey McBride, CJ Stroud. Again, there was a nice QB value in the 5th round this draft. Keenan Allen, Jordan Addison, Curtis Samuel, Najee Spears, Sharbs, Rashawn. All right, I like your late round running backs a lot. And then Corley thrown in there, who I like as well. So Kyron with Najee Spears, Charbonnet, and Rashawn should be fine. St. Brown, DJ Moore, Keenan Allen, Addison, Samuel. Again, the question marks about the wide receivers. Obviously, I love St. Brown. think DJ Moore in the 3rd round is fine. Keenan, okay, he's fine there, probably. Addison, I think, will be okay. Samuel will be okay. So, wide receiver 3 flex lacks a little upside for me, but again, overall, a solid team. No major complaints there. Tony, what's up? Got Bijan at 6, and then Ayuk, Debo, Kirk, Hollywood, Worthy. So, got the Chiefs stack there without Mahomes, but that's okay. Dak, Ferguson. So, you got the Dak Ferguson stack. Brian Robinson, Chuba, Dowdle, Mitchell, CEH. Man, I like this team a lot, honestly. You got Bijan, so you went anchor RB. Then you got Ayuk, Debo. I just realized you have 2 49ers wide receivers, 2 Chiefs wide receivers. Yeah, could increase your volatility there, like if the 49ers struggle one week or the Chiefs struggle one week. But Ayuk, Debo, Kirk, Hollywood Brown, Worthy at wide receiver is great. You got Dak and Ferguson. I really like this team. I think this team is right up there with the Mauls as my 2 favorites so far. So well done there from the 6. Let me get a sip of water. All right, Jasosa 7. Jamar and Adams, Laporta and Hurts, Cook and Connor. I see a trend here. Wide receiver, tight end QB, running back. And then we break the trend. Brian Thomas, Raheem Mostert, Hopkins, Josh Palmer, Vidal, Douglas, and then Justin Herbert. Even though you already have Hurts, okay, that's fine, I guess, but not what I would do, but it's okay. So wide receivers, Chase, Adams, Brian Thomas, Hopkins, Palmer, Douglas. Obviously love Chase. I'm a little nervous for Adams. I'm definitely nervous for the rest of your wide receivers. Like, I think they'll be fine. I do think Palmer and Douglas are good values. But again, wide receiver 3 flex could be an issue here. Although maybe you could flex Mostert, but running backs, Cook, Connor, Mostert, Vidal. Again, a little dicey there at running back. No true RB1. Like some high-end RB2s. I mean, maybe James Cook could be an RB1 this year. I think he's got the potential. You got Laporta and Hurts. So again, I'm gonna put this in a solid range. Definitely don't think this is like a terrible team or anything, but I think maybe it lacks a little bit of upside. All right, Stinger picking from the 8. This is a tough spot. These spots here are tough. Let's see how he did. Puka, Olave, I love that. Rashad White, Zay Flowers. I would probably like to see those guys flipped, but it's okay. You got them both. Kenneth Walker, Rashee Rice. Look, Rashee Rice. Nobody asked about Rashee Rice. It's looking like he may not get suspended this year. So that's interesting. David Montgomery, Cortland Sutton, Dallas Goedert, Devin Singletary, Tua as QB1, Darnell Mooney, and Pierce. Really like the wide receivers here. I mean, Puka, Olave, Zay Flowers, Rashee Rice, Sutton, and Mooney as your bench wide receivers. That's fine. Rashad White, Kenneth Walker, David Montgomery, Singletary, and Pierce as your running backs. I think that's great. I think Goddard's being undervalued. I think Tua as your QB1 late is great. I really like this team as well. I'm going to put this as one of the top teams. Well done, Stinger. All right, Interflux. Got A.J. Brown, Jonathan Taylor. Great start. Cooper Kupp at the 3-9. Not my cup of tea. Pun intended. But it's fine. Josh Jacobs, I think, in the 4th is great value. Diggs, probably okay with him at the 5-9, to be honest. Kittle, Swift, Shakir, Leggett. Do we really need to be drafting Leggett in? Okay. Maybe it'll work out for him. Blake Corum, I know that's your guy. Polk, Purdy, and then Roman Wilson. Wow, we got very, very young in the second half of this draft. A lot of rookies. Second half of this draft. So you got JT, Jacobs, Swift, Corum. I think you're fine at running back. AJ Brown, Kupp, Diggs, Shakir, Leggett, Polk, Wilson at wide receivers. This is kind of more quantity over quality. Again, a little nervous about your wide receiver room, but look, if Kupp bounces back, if Diggs somehow is the wide receiver 1 in Houston, if Shakir, Leggett, Polk, or Wilson bust out, then it could be okay. Kittle, your tight end is good. You got the Kittle Purdy stack. That's good. So again, I'm going to put this in the solid range. Put it in one of those solid teams, below those top tier of teams that I already talked about. All right. Did we ever figure out what Mexi Madden did that was so funny? Did we ever get the word on that? He did the funniest thing ever, but we didn't get the follow-up from Interflux, so I don't know what it is. So if you guys see it, let me know. What was the funniest thing ever? All right, well, let's see. Breece Hall to start. Breece Hall at 10 is an absolute steal. London, Metcalf, Dell, can't complain. Pitts, Anthony Richardson. Anthony Richardson in the 6 is a steal. Kamara, Jalen Warren. All right, Jalen Warren's not my guy, but whatever. A.D. Mitchell, Rashid Shaheed, Brock Bowers, Jaden Daniels, Gabe Davis. So I'll say the first thing that stands out to me here is I mostly like this team. And I like that you went Breece Hall and then attacked other positions. I think in this case, because you only have 3 running backs, I don't think you need, and I don't think you need, well, you definitely don't need Jaden Daniels when you have Anthony Richardson. I don't know, maybe you're worried about Anthony Richardson getting hurt, but what about Jaden Daniels? I guess Bowers with Pitts is okay, but man, only having 3 running backs on my roster that are Breece Hall, Kamara, and Jalen Warren, that terrifies me. I do like your wide receivers, though. Drake London, DK Metcalf, Tank Dell. Obviously, after that, it gets a little dicey. Yeah, I don't think you need 2 tight ends and 2 QBs here. So that's what I would have changed. All right, NMB did not like his team. Let's see how he did. Garrett Wilson, Barkley, Kelsey, Higgins, Mixon, Ridley. Okay, yeah, Burrow, Coleman, Franklin, Cooks, Lloyd, Tracy. Another very rookie-heavy team to finish. I mean, Coleman, Franklin, Lloyd, Tracy, Estime, all rookies there. Almost an all-rookie bench except for old man Brandon Cooks. Yeah, I see why you don't like it. I mean, Wilson, Higgins, Ridley, Coleman, Franklin, Cooks. Doesn't excite me at wide receiver. It's okay. Like, I do like Wilson, of course. I still think Higgins will be good. Ridley's fine. The other guys are like, we'll see. Barkley Mixon, I think, is fine at running back. In fact, I think that's really good at running back, to be honest. Depth at running back could be an issue. I mean, we're talking about rookies that may be nothing more than handcuffs, or like a guy like Tracy is he even going to make the roster? We don't know. I think in this is a case where I'm probably not taking Kelsey. I'm probably going with a wide receiver like Devonta Smith or Neighbors if you like that, or Dell, or maybe even and pull string running back there, and then just waiting on tight end personally. So I don't think it's as bad as you think, but yeah, it's not my favorite. I will say that. All right, then finally Clayton at the 12 for the second week in a row. So you should have this dialed by now. Harrison, Gibbs, Devonta Smith, Neighbors, Godwin, Deontay Johnson, Kyler Murray, who is a great value this year. Jonathan Brooks, Tony Pollard, Jerome Ford, Tyler Lockett, Jalen Wright, and then you basically did not draft a tight end because TJ Hawkinson is not going to do anything to start the year. So you're going to have to pick up a tight end if this was a real league. Wide receiver is obviously phenomenal. I mean, Neighbors is your wide receiver 3, and you got Godwin and Deontay. Great. Gibbs is your RB1, I think is fine. And then you got Brooks, Pollard, Ford, Jalen Wright. You threw in Lockett for the upside. Okay, yeah. The only thing that kept this draft from being like A+ was Hawkinson, but also one of the better teams here. All right. There we go. Oh, he took the double tight end, double QB thing. Okay, that's what he did. Yeah, he did. And I think that definitely hurt his team. I get wanting to back up these guys in case they get hurt, but I think it's better. You're better off having guys that can help you instead. JSC saying Xavier Leggett is a Panthers wide receiver 1. He's not sold on Deontay Johnson. That might be the boldest thing I've heard. Like, not being sold on a guy who's been the wide receiver 1 on his team in many years, or for however many years he was on his team, versus a guy who's never played an NFL snap. We'll see. Could Jerome? Yes, I've talked about Jerome Ford this offseason many times. Jerome Ford, definitely a sneaky pick. Nick Chubb on pup to start training camp, and I promise you, shouldn't say that. I can almost promise you Nick Chubb will be on pup to start the season. So, yes. Okay, Hawk is on IR. He's picking up Musgrave. Okay, if you put Musgrave there, I like the team more. So, okay, fine. I mean, you probably could just pick up draft Musgrave, but whatever. All right. There we go, guys. Appreciate everybody being on here. Don't forget, if you want help in your drafts, check out our app, Draft Lane, where we will assist you every pick of the way, tell you exactly who we would pick if we were on the clock to help you in your fantasy drafts this year. Just go to your app store, download Draft Lane. Also, don't forget, we got video. We got video that just dropped like 4 hours ago. Some expert predictions we made for the year. You definitely want to check that out. We're going to start dropping videos every single day to help you guys in your drafts. And we'll be back here on Sunday doing an underdog best ball draft once again. And, of course, all these mock drafts, so keep it locked into here. Appreciate everybody jumping on here and drafting with me. We'll see you next week with Pierre. Pretty sure. So enjoy the rest of your day, you guys, or night, wherever you're at, and we'll see you next time.